It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Hey, tired of being Mr. Nice Guy to these fuck niggas. Got nothing to discuss with them unless it's about business. I replenish when they all diminish. Started caking, I ain't near finished. Can't kill him, I been too kind. When the money pile, I need y'all to witness. Pull up on them like calisthenics with the jewels on me. Met your chick, she amused for me. Sent music to amuse. I was not enthused when they put the blues on me. Wait, fuck that, time for me to bust back. Show me where the love at, ho. Niggas on the block with the gun strap. Homie finna dump that. Hit him where his mustache go. Ayy, get on my level. When it come to bank, I pimp my teller. Never been a nigga that'll rock Margiela. Never come around, I be a child better. Might not never get to rock Coachella. I don't get no fucks, I do you one better. I'm about my cheddar, don't sprinkle no feather. I skate on track like Bam, my cherry young nigga too hot, don't need no leather. I've been a living legend for a minute. I was at Apache trying to sell a ticket. Nigga used to rap when Debo had the pitches. I've been learning about the boss and treat it like an auction. Labels gotta bid it. I ain't never been with Stallion. I can make a call and get the money printed. Bitch, I do not play when it come to this rapping. Studied the game when I lived in the attic. All of that struggle just made me a savage. Singing my praise on my engine been jacket. Hating that nigga can't fit in my jacket. I give you that shit, y'all nigga be taking. Y'all bite my style straight trash. Y'all make it took 21 days, make stuff my habit. I'm gone.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well once again this Saturday evening. In this video, we're going to get into some brief updates that have happened in the Megan Thee Stallion versus Milagro Grrrls, aka Milagro Cooper case, where Milagro is being sued for harassment, cyber stalking, spreading of deep fake, and Megan and her legal team are basically trying to prove that Milagro, among other creators in the social media sphere, have been used by one Tory Lanez to put out a hate campaign against her that's being financed and fed to them by Tory's father and his team. Okay? So we've been keeping up with this thing for the last year, and it's been a lot. It's been intense. However, the trial is set to commence on November 17th. All right? So in just about 2.5 weeks, we're going to actually see what this is going to be. Been building towards this moment for quite some time. A lot of allegations have been made. A lot of files have been pulled regarding Milagro, regarding monies Milagro accepted, regarding many and plenty of statements that Milagro has made on her platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and those that have yet to be fully uncovered on platforms such as Discord and WhatsApp. Okay? Not to mention text messages, phone calls between herself and Tory Lanez's father that seem to be very urgent. We're also dealing with destroyed evidence in text messages from Milagro's phone that she was expressly told to preserve. She got rid of them anyway. Now she's been enforced with sanctions, meaning she will have to pay Megan Thee Stallion damages for deleting these files. And she's going to have to pay legal fees for Megan having to take on additional time from legal counsel in order to find all of these things. Okay? So let's get into what's been going on this week. All right? Now, we already have a deposition, 2 depositions that have taken place with the DJ that don't spin. He was trying to fight it. He was not able to fight it. We have Tory Lanez, who's been trying to get out of conducting his second deposition because he came in and completely was disrespectful to Megan's lawyer throughout the entirety of the first. Megan has filed paperwork for Tory to have to come once again, but this next deposition will be in front of the judge. We also have Adin Ross, who's been subpoenaed to be deposed. And he's been trying to wiggle out of it because he feels like he has no material information of significance to this situation. However, he's been denied. Him and Tory Lanez have both been denied. And we're just going to read into this, okay? So first, let's get into Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion's assailant and shooter. A lot of people have been trying to sweep that under the rug like it never happened, say it's a lie. But I think it's very important that we keep that in the conversation, that this is the man who shot Megan Thee Stallion and is serving prison time for it, who's finding himself in more issues. Okay? So this is the order denying motion for protective order and or to quash subpoena. This cause came before the court upon non-party Daystar Peterson, that will be Tory, and his motion for protective order and or to quash subpoena related to the subpoena for deposition served by plaintiff Megan Pete. Okay? The underserved reviewed briefing from both parties and held a discovery hearing on October 24th, 2025. So that was last week. After reviewing the materials and record, hearing argument from counsel at the hearing, and being otherwise fully apprised, it is hereby ordered and adjudged that non-party Mr. Peterson's motion is denied. Background. On February 24th, 2025, plaintiff filed an unopposed motion to take the deposition of Daystar Peterson, currently confined in the California Correctional Institute pursuant Rule of Civil Procedure 30A2B. The motion was granted the same day by the district court. Plaintiff attempted to take Mr. Peterson's deposition on April 9th, 2025, but was forced to end the deposition after only 44 minutes due to Mr. Peterson's obstructive conduct. Obstructive, that is. Remember, he has to pay as well for obstructing justice. On April 16th, 2025, plaintiff filed a motion for an order to show cause as to why Mr. Peterson should not be held in contempt for his obstructive behavior at the April 9th deposition, and requesting monetary sanctions and the continued deposition of Mr. Peterson to be overseen by a special master. That motion was granted by the district court. Mr. Peterson failed to respond to the show cause order, and on August 1st, 2025, the court ordered Mr. Peterson's continued deposition to be supervised by the undersigned. Mr. Peterson's continued deposition was scheduled to take place on September 15, 2025. Mr. Peterson appeared at the deposition with new counsel, Crystal Morgan, but refused to be deposed, citing issues with notice and jurisdiction. The court informed Mr. Peterson that the sanction for not testifying at the scheduled deposition would be, at the very least, attorney's fees and costs for all the attorneys who appeared that day. Ms. Morgan indicated that she would be filing for a protective order in California, where Mr. Peterson was currently incarcerated. That motion for protective order was filed on September 24th, 2025 in the Central District of California before Judge George H. Wu. Okay? Separate judge. Judge Wu held a hearing on the motion and ultimately denied the motion without prejudice and transferred the matter back to this court to be decided. So the judge in Cali said, fuck you. Get your ass back in there. That's how I interpret it. Okay? The undersigned held a hearing on October 24, 2025, where Mr. Peterson again moved for a protective order regarding his continued deposition. Like with the California court, Mr. Peterson again argued that given deposition testimony in this case risked infringing his Fifth Amendment right and prejudicing his appeal in his underlying criminal matter. Because remember, he's trying to appeal the state's decision to lock his ass up. Okay? He again requested the subpoena issued by this court in February 2025 and served March 2025 be quashed, or in the alternative be limited to written questions pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 31. I find it interesting that he said this case risked infringing his Fifth Amendment right and prejudicing his appeal. Discussion. As noted by plaintiff, Mr. Peterson's motion is untimely. Under Rule 45, a court may quash or modify a subpoena upon a timely motion made by the non-party. Though the federal rules do not specify what timely is for a motion to quash or for protective order, it is typically understood to be prior to the date of compliance. Typically, failure to timely serve written objections or move to quash results in the subpoena recipient waiving their objections. Here, the record and service affidavit indicate that Mr. Peterson was properly served with the deposition subpoena on March 10th, 2025. Therefore, the deadline for Mr. Peterson to object or move to quash the subpoena would have been at the very latest before his April 9th, 2025 deposition, which he willingly appeared. Okay? So he would have had to object before the initial deposition that took place, where he was ultimately disrespectful to everyone in the room. However, Mr. Peterson filed no such motion and appeared with counsel for the deposition on April 9th, 2025. Indeed, the matter at hand is the continuation of Mr. Peterson's April 9th, 2025 deposition, which was ended prematurely due to his obstructive conduct, not a new subpoena now issued by plaintiff. Under Rule 45 and relevant case law, Mr. Peterson's motion is untimely and should be denied for this reason alone. Even if the motion was timely, Mr. Peterson's remaining objections are unavailing. Mr. Peterson argues that the continuation of his deposition may unfairly prejudice his ongoing criminal appeal and infringe on his Fifth Amendment right. As an initial matter, it is unclear how Mr. Peterson's deposition may impact or prejudice any parallel criminal appeals he has pending. The focus of Mr. Peterson's deposition is his relationship with defendant Cooper, not with plaintiff. So they say the relevance isn't even correlating. Thus, the court does not see how testimony regarding Mr. Peterson's communications and relationship with defendant would serve to prejudice his criminal appeal. Sounds like an admission of guilt within that, because if his relationship with Milagro is solidified to be more than it is, perhaps it would make his appeal even harder to accomplish, which I don't think is going to get granted any fucking way, but that's just my opinion. Indeed, Mr. Peterson's motion and Ms. Morgan at the hearing make only vague allusions to such prejudice. So he has a new lawyer, and she's not even communicating why this shit makes sense. Nevertheless, as noted by plaintiff, a deponent cannot assert the Fifth Amendment to avoid a deposition altogether. He must be hiring motherfucking lawyers from Law and Order. You got TV lawyers on your side, nigga? It's like everybody on y'all side just been throwing shit at the wall. Did they all graduate from the law school of Aubrey Drake Graham? Damn. As stated during the hearing, Mr. Peterson must appear for his deposition and may assert any Fifth Amendment privilege on a question-by-question basis, the propriety of which will be decided by the undersigned who will be supervising the deposition. This is the approach endorsed in both Hoffman as well as in Keating v. Office of Thrift Supervision cited by Mr. Peterson in his motion. So they using your own case law references to say, nigga, the case you even pointed out shows you why this shit don't work. Damn. Are you really pro se on the low ski? Plaintiff was also cautioned at the hearing that questioning should be tailored to this civil case. Mr. Peterson similarly has not established any undue burden as to quash the subpoena. Okay? Nor has he provided good reason to limit questioning to written questions under Rule 31. Conclusion. I'm skipping a lot of this stuff because it's relevant, but it's not relevant to his shit. It's just like why they're saying no. Therefore, for the foregoing reasons, non-party Daystar Peterson's motion for protective order is denied. Mr. Peterson shall sit for his continued deposition in line with the district court's order, supervised by the undersigned as at a date agreed upon by all parties. The undersigned reserves ruling on any request for sanctions or fees as a result of Mr. Peterson's refusal to sit for his September 15, 2025 deposition and related motion practice until after Mr. Peterson's upcoming deposition. All right, so this was done and ordered on the 30th, on Thursday. Okay. Now, as it pertains to Adin Ross, because he had brought some objections to the court as well, this is what he said that was ultimately denied. So here we have notice of issues for discovery hearing. And this discovery hearing took place yesterday, all right, at 10 a.m. So non-party Adin Ross, through undersigned counsel, provides notice of the following issues to be addressed at the discovery hearing scheduled before Magistrate Judge Lisette M. Reed. The hearing is set for October 31st, 2025 at 10 a.m. So before Megan was able to partake in Halloween last night, she had to deal with this motherfucker, or at least her legal team did. 1. Improper presupposition of facts. Okay, he's asking, is this a fishing expedition requiring any deposition or production of documents? All right, because remember, he's trying to weasel his way out of this to not have to answer to the relationship between himself, Tory Lanez, Milagro, DJ that don't spin, and that whole camp right there. Whether document requests 1, 3, and 7 improperly presuppose the existence of communications and a connection between non-party Ross and defendant Cooper without a factual basis. 2. Overbreadth of document requests. Sounds like they're asking too much, in his opinion. Whether document request 1 is overbroad in seeking all documents and communications about Miss Pete, the civil action, or the criminal action without reasonable limitation. All documents and communications about Miss Pete. So anything that he said about Megan, anything he said in relation to this civil action or the criminal action, and of course the criminal action was Tory Lanez's case. Whether document request 2 is overbroad in scope due to the expansive definition of Peterson Group, including undefined affiliated personnel. Whether document request 5 is overbroad in seeking documents about third-party interactions wholly outside non-party Ross's knowledge or participation. Whether document request 6 is overbroad due to undefined refer or relate to language and unlimited scope of social media platforms. They get into overbreadth of definitions. Whether the definition of payment, pages 6 and 7, is overbroad. Find it very interesting that Adin Ross and his legal team are trying to push back on what the definition of payment is. If you've never received no money, why would you be fighting back on what payment indicates when even my son could probably tell you what a payment is, and he ain't even really fully discovered what money is? Anyway, whether the definition of payment is overbroad and encompassing any financial activity across multiple platforms for 5 years. 5 years. Since 2020. Whether the definition of item of value, page 6, is impermissibly boundless due to not limited to language. So perhaps he may have received payments, or maybe instead of direct payment, he received so-called items of value that he doesn't want to bring forth. 8, whether the definition of communication, pages 4 and 5, creates disproportionate burden requiring forensic review of 15 plus platforms over 5 years. Whether the definition of social media posts, pages 7 and 8, improperly shifts preservation obligations to non-party by requiring production of deleted content and archives potentially unavailable to him. Very interesting we hear about this so-called deleted content for people who tend to not delete their content. Undue burden and lack of proportionality. This is another one of their claims. Whether the subpoena subjects non-party Ross to undue burden pursuant to Federal R Civil P 45D3A4. Whether the subpoena fails proportionately requirements under Fed R Civil P 26B1, given non-party Ross's tangential connection to the underlying dispute and no stated or represented connection to defendant. Because he claims he has no connection to Milagro. Protective order. Whether a protective order should issue pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 45D3A to protect non-party Ross from the undue burden and harassment. He feels he's being burdened and harassed by Megan Thee Stallion. This was submitted by his legal team, Robert Bushell. And this motion was also denied. Now, moving forward, there will be one more. Well, shit. Depending on how things go this week, there may be more. But as of now, there's one more pre-trial hearing that will be taking place on November 10th, just 7 days before trial is set to begin. And in that pre-trial hearing, that will also be taking place at 11 a.m. on November 10th. Okay? The counsel must be present in the courtroom. The parties are excused. So it's just going to be the lawyers. Counsel shall be prepared to address the following. And this includes Milagro's team. Any and all objections to trial exhibits. In order to have trial exhibits pre-marked and pre-admitted for the trial commencing the week of November 17th. So any objections to trial exhibits will be addressed on the 10th. Any objections to proposed jury instructions so that the jury instructions are finalized prior to the start of trial. Now remember, the jury will be informed of Milagro's attempts to destroy evidence coming into this trial as a penalty for her deliberately destroying evidence. So if the writing ain't on the wall, you might want to get your red lipstick ready. And C, any objections to anticipated witness testimony, okay, including deposition designations to minimize interruptions at trial. All right. So that in terms of depositions, we have the DJ that don't spin, the rapper whose hair don't grow, and the streamer who claims he doesn't know Milagro. I'm sure you can figure out who we're talking about there. Okay? Prior to the pretrial conference, counsel for the parties must confer in a good faith effort to reach agreement on outstanding issues. And that was adjudged as of the 30th. Okay? So November 10th will likely be the next update, but who knows what's going to happen this upcoming week, what paperwork will be submitted, what final bit of discovery gets put in place here that's available to public view. We'll see. But I'm gonna be honest, man, it seems like Megan has a very strong, a very compelling case. And remember, she showed no interest of settlement. Months ago, that conversation was brought up. She ain't trying to settle. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this trial goes. And it begins on the 17th. So that's what I got for y'all on this update. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one, man. Y'all be good out there. And hopefully we have, a week ahead of us with some interesting things to talk about this week. It got a little shaky. I wasn't finna talk about NBA YoungBoy and fucking NLE Choppa beefing. that whack ass hit 'em up rendition. No, sir, we're not talking about that over here. I already addressed Designer and his average ass rapping going viral. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna do individuals about that. So hopefully this week brings more compelling conversation as we go into the latter part of this year. We're winding down. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you and your family are doing well. There's a lot going on in this country. A lot of people are going through rough times. And I just want to send love, send prayers, and hope that everybody is at bare minimum fed, warm, housed in these trying times. I know shit is fucking crazy out here. There's a lot of division going on out here. And, I just hope everybody that's tuned in over here, that's an insider, is doing well. All right? I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I could do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I ran for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I had